Okay, let's do one more. So let's look at this one. Matching parentheses. So we got a string more, and now it contains just a bunch of parentheses. We need to return an index. So when it is split at this index, the number of opening parentheses in the left-hand side of the split is equal to the number of closing parentheses in the right-hand side of the split. If I is equal to 2, the expression is split into the right and left-hand parts, given as this. And that is, I guess, it agrees with what we have up here. And now there are 2 opening parentheses in the right-hand side and 2 closing parentheses. No, the left-hand side has 2 opening parentheses, that is true, and this one has 2 closings, and then it is balanced, and that is apparently what this function needs to do. Okay, so let's do that. I guess that is also here. Yeah, fine. And there's a little example here, so that's nice. So now let's look at this this problem. So I'm going to use a shortcut that I use a lot. I actually discussed it in the last video, but I'll show it here again. Let me just zoom in. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Parents. Because I zoomed out by accident. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Let me just change to American keyboard. So I can press and hold Control plus click, and that can go jump to function definitions. So if I press and hold Control, I can click on this function. You can even see what the documentation says. I jump to the function, and here we are. As always, I insert a breakpoint near the bottom. I'm just writing a return statement here because I need somewhere to put the breakpoint, and then we'll let the experimentation start in the debugger. So I press debug, the function is called, we stop at the breakpoint, and it's called with this weird looking expression. Looks like this. Okay, so what did we say? We said that if the index was 2, it was supposed to be split in a certain way. So I think my strategy here is just first going to imagine what I would do with a given index. Okay, so my strategy is going to be, let's suppose I know what the indexes can be, because the indexes can potentially just be all the different places that it can be 0, 1, 2, and so on up until the end of the string. So what I basically need to do is I need to make a loop that counts over all the available indices, split it at the given index, and check if it's balanced, and if it's balanced, I know I found the right index. So that's going to be my approach. So let's say I have an index. Let's say the index is 2. And then I need to split this string in the way given in the problem. So how did it need to be split? It needs to be split in such a way that I have 3 here and the rest in the other string. So let's start with that. And the reason why I'm being a little bit careful here is that there is a possibility for doing something called off by 1 error. And they are so fun. So let's look at how I would potentially find the first bit. Yeah, so this doesn't work. Because if I write 2 here, I just get the first 2 parentheses. I get these 2. I need to write 3. In other words, I think a good approach would be to say left part. Oh, let's actually just use L for left. I hate these long variable names. That's going to be this part, and right is going to be expression of the rest of it. And then I guess we do index here and we do index here. And let's see if that actually works. So now I select it and run it, and the way I run it is that I use Shift plus Alt plus E, and that runs. Good. So save it, select it, and Shift Alt E. Boom. And that evaluates this expression in the debugger, and now I can experiment and see what it is. So it wasn't correct, because I got a off by 1 error. So I just explained that off by 1 errors are so common, and I'm so clever, so I'll avoid them, and then I did one. So that was really good. Forget about that. This is the left part, this is the right part. Okay, now it looks like it's correct. It looks like it's correct according to the problem at the very least. Assuming the problem is correct. That's not even, it's not even completely certain, but I hope it is. So let's just check that this stuff is correct. So I can just check that the number of letters actually match. So let's see if we add these together, I should actually get the original expression. Oh, express. Yeah, I do. So I'm at the very least splitting it correctly. So what could I do here? I need to write a loop. Next time you'll learn something about loops that will make this much more fun. But for now, we're just doing a for loop. So let's do index, while index is less than the length of the expression. Do this stuff and then add 1 to the index. And now let's just print it out. So we print out index, we print out left, and we print out right like this. And now let's see what happens when we run this. And we need to start the index at 0, of course. So let's see what happens when we run this. So what I do here is I select all the lines and then Shift Alt E like this. And now, yeah, it looks correct, I guess. Okay, good. So now we need to check if this is a good candidate split. So how would we do that? Well, let's say I have the left-hand part here. Now I need to count the number of opening parentheses. So there's something called count. Like this is where I'm using Visual Studio Code. I'm just sitting here and guessing. I can see, okay, I got a bunch of functions that I can use. Are there any of these that sound relevant? A really good strategy is that you just write something that sounds like it might be it. Count, I think, could be it. So let's see what happens with count. Let's try to see if it works. So let's see what happens if I do this, it's 3. If I do this, it's this. And L is this. So that seems to do the right thing. And this is super useful. If this stuff doesn't work, like if this hokey pokey guessing game doesn't work, Stack Exchange. Like just ask Google or ask ChatGPT. I mean, all of these basic operations. There are a million different people who have asked and wondered about it, and therefore it's very easy to find information. So now we need to check that the number of opening parentheses are equal to the number of closing parentheses in the right-hand part. Like this, I guess. No, this is wrong. Like this. If that is true, we return the index. Because we found the right index, so we can just as well just return it here. And I guess since we are doing this stuff, we can erase this line. It's a little bit unclear to me what it does if the parentheses are not balanced at all. And maybe we'll get an error and figure out what we're supposed to do in that case. But this seems to actually do the trick. So we run. And it gives 4. And God knows if that's correct. So let's try. Is that correct? Yeah, actually maybe it is. Let's try to run the test. Wow, it worked. That is brilliant. It was the correct convention, and the exercise description didn't contain an error. I'm so relieved because these off by 1 errors, they are super common. So therefore, the moment I saw the exercise description, I thought, well, maybe you made it off by 1 error. That would really be you. But I didn't. Or maybe I made 2 off by 1 errors and they cancel each other out. Who knows? Programming is such an exciting endeavor. So until next exercise, have fun.